Good one in the bank for Tara Walsh on balance beam. The leadoff over on floor for Towson will be Carmela Calafati.
Floor, a fun event for everyone to be able to show off their dance, their personalities, through their music, through their choreography. Starting off, she does a front double twist into a front pike. Really difficult.
Big E element, the front double full connected right to the pike front. And one thing here you see from the senior, projecting up off the floor. That's another thing that can develop over time for athletes.
Then to a front Rudy straddle jump. That's a front 1.5. So a lot of front twisting skills in this routine.
Two-pass leadoff routine for the Tigers. Calafati gets them started in a solid way. Speaking of solid, we can tell you that Tara Walsh clocked in at a 9.725. We'll take another look back at Calafati's routine.
We can see here the front double twist that we talked about. She sets it up well into that front pike.
Next up for Towson on floor, Natalie Lindgren, a freshman, getting her collegiate debut underway on floor exercise.
Getting ready for her first tumbling pass here. Wow, really nice. Triple full there, not easy. We do not see many of those in college gymnastics.
We don't see them nearly enough, but when they're done like that, fully rotated, nicely hung up in the air, it's a great start for the freshman.
I love how easy she made that look. You almost had to second guess how many twists you were counting in the middle of that.
A little scrappy around in that jump combination. One thing that you can do on those elements is see where their feet start, make sure that they're making a full 1.5, 360, half rotation, landing exactly where they started. Last pass was right there for Lindgren.
We'll take another look here.
Teammates thrilled for the freshman. We'll take a look at both passes here. The triple full that we were thrilled about.
Last pass here was that 1.5 to the front layout. The 1.5 a little bit low. Would have loved to have seen a little bit more height, but again, a solid routine for Towson. The judges are sitting to the side, so sometimes they see things that we can't see and vice versa. So we'll see what they take on that.
Indeed, we will. Now joining Isabella DeCruz in the third slot, following two 9.775s from their first two athletes. Solid start for Towson here on floor.
First pass here, a double tuck.
Look at the control. That front foot stayed so solidly planted there. Lots of confidence for DeCruz.
A note to point out is you are allowed to take that lunge with no deduction, so you don't have to land without moving in a stick on floor exercise. You're allowed to have that lunge to be able to balance yourself.
But also important to say, that front foot can't move at all.
Exactly. Next tumbling run, we see a front full into a front layout.
Coach Jay Ramirez waiting in the corner and stoked with that final pass for Isabella DeCruz in the third spot for the Tigers.
A lot of Tigers going on, a lot of floor routines with the Tiger roar at the end. I'm sure we'll see Clemson do that as well.
Here's that double tuck we mentioned. Pay attention to that front foot.
She sets herself up nicely and was able to break out with her chest up on that landing.
Closes her hips just a little bit in this front full, but floats up the front layout after it nicely. Exactly what you want to do. You want to give yourself enough height and rotation to be able to look back and plant your feet. Now, the standout, Isabella Minervini, following the 9-8 from Isabella DeCruz before her.
So far with this Towson lineup, we've seen these scores build. That's exactly what you want in your lineup on any event, the scores to continue building down your lineup. Starting off strong with a beautiful front layout into a Rudy. Nice little combo there. Floor is a cardio event, so starting to build that early on in preseason, the cardio that you need for an event like this. It can be difficult and it does take time, but so far we've not seen any issues with that.
Sets up for another combination pass as associate head coach Ashley Levine looks pleased with the performance of Minervini in the fourth slot. Showing it off a little bit here at the end to finish it up for the Tigers. Sydney, one thing I want to point out, this first pass, look at the technique. Beautiful foot, ankle, legs, toes.
One thing also to point out is there was no pike down on that Rudy. Sometimes we see that at the end for the rotation purposes, but she was in a straight line, which just goes to show how comfortable she is in the air and with the power that she has.
Can tell you that Adriana Hoffman will follow another 9-8 for Minervini, so Towson really cooking in this third rotation on floor.
Gearing up for her first tumbling pass here. She does a full in, really difficult E-level skill. Just couldn't quite control that landing, so unfortunately fell on that.
Short of the straddle rotation on both of those jumps, so she'll look to gain some momentum there. Some large errors so far for Hoffman. Looks to finish up here.
She was a front tuck through to a double tuck and actually sticks that landing. So two really difficult tumbling passes back to back.
Yeah, the tumbling talent is definitely there. Just looking a little bit disconnected from the music. You want a little more connection, for lack of a better term.
Let's take another look at this first tumbling pass. Again, it's this full in. She sets it up nice, has the twist, a little bit of form break throughout, but just that squatty landing, she almost wasn't ready for it, and so that caused her to fall back.
Yep, final pass here. It's the front through to double tuck. Really quick twitch. Nice flip-flop technique there to rise up in the double tuck, and like you said, nailed the landing of the last pass.
Looks like she stepped off the mat for a bit. It can be a mental game when you're having to wait. We talked about it earlier, but it's really not easy.
Everybody keeping it light, keeping it cool. Again, this is the first meet of the season, but as we mentioned, Polina Belanovsky is road tested in pressure positions. The senior is ready on floor. Adriana Hoffman before her, final score 9.0. So Belanovsky will look to save the rotation and drop that number from the overall total.
Starts out with a front double full. That blind landing's really difficult, but she made it look so easy there.
One of those E elements you mentioned. Solid start for Belanovsky. Senior setting up for her final pass.
She does a front Rudy into a back tuck.
You have to be so patient on that skill to let the floor bounce you up. I would say she rushed that just a bit. Went straight up in the air. I think you and I both sat back a little bit, but she's got it under control.
She was able to cover it really well. A lot of those combination passes in floor really just come down to timing.
Indeed, as Belanovsky finishes up in the anchor position for the Towson Tigers in this third rotation. This first pass will get a second look. It's that front double full.
Beautifully done here in the air. Nice extension throughout. Surprised herself a little bit on that landing.
Watch this last pass, gets up, hung up right there.
She set up the Rudy really nicely. It just looked like a little bit of buckled knees into that back tuck.
We can tell you that Polina Belanovsky closed out the rotation in a big way, another 9.8. So 3 scores of 9.8 for the Towson Tigers. Another exhibition now, it'll be Allison Rich, freshman from Woodstock, Georgia.
You can see now this dance and these presentation skills that she has throughout. Really pretty dance.
Yeah, this is differentiating herself from even the rest of her lineup. Great presentation.
She starts with that front layout into a Rudy there.
The quality of this movement is undeniable. That first pass, though, a bit rushed. Got it around, didn't rise up quite as much as she possibly could in the Rudy, but wow, she's an intense dancer.
Dance can be something that's hard to teach as well. It takes time to be comfortable with your routine, with your choreography.
Yeah, visibly off balance through that leap and jump combination. Getting it back under control here. She closes with the final pass.
That was supposed to be a round off 2.5. Was short on that, so unfortunately fell backwards. Falling backwards on a front landing skill means there's not enough power and rotation there.
You saw the shoulders well behind the hips, and as we mentioned previously in the meet, no saving that element once that happens. But I do have to say, I love a sleeper, a nodi element right at the end there. That's fun to see built into the choreography. Rich is one to watch for Towson this season.